Hey, what's going on? Today's video is going to be about gold anodized pickguards from China. It's kind of an odd topic, but if you've watched some of my videos, you know that I have a Jazzmaster. It's a Squire vintage modified Jazzmaster. Did a few modifications to it, some upgrades. I don't know if you call them actually upgrades because I didn't really change out the pickups yet or the wiring. That's still something I'm considering, but regardless, I did change out the pickguard from the white that came with the guitar to a tortoiseshell pickguard. And I did a video on that, kind of how I came down to the choice that I made. I actually bought 3 pickguards and sort of compared them. They're inexpensive. And I sold one, kept one, I actually kept 2. If you want to see that video, you can click this little eye up here in the corner and it'll take you to it. So here's my Jazzmaster in its current state. You can see that it has the tortoiseshell pickguard. This is the one I settled on, the one that I thought looked best on the guitar, that made the most sense. It had kind of the best pattern. I actually like this myself. To be quite honest, my wife does not like this pickguard on this guitar. So I got to asking her what she thought might look good on the guitar, and I showed her a couple examples of things that people did, just some different options, and I came across the gold anodized pickguard, and she thought that would look good. So I got to researching and trying to find one of these, and if you've done something similar, then you know that they're pretty hard to come by. Actually, a lot of places online are out of stock of the Fender anodized gold pickguard for Jazzmasters especially, and if you do come across one, they're about like $80 or something like that, and if you get a vintage one, then they fetch just unreasonable astronomical prices. So I was looking into getting an inexpensive one that I could use, that would fit, that was a decent color. So I came across one on eBay. They had a lot of pictures of the item, a lot of close-ups. I could tell that it looked like it was good quality. The only thing I was concerned about was the color. And so I just want to share with you, I have that pickguard here now. I'll show it to you and let you make a decision if that's something that you're in the market for, if you want to go that route or hold off for, the official Fender type or, some aftermarket one that's closer to the original. So let me just show you that pickguard real quick. Okay, so this is it. I will let you be the judge of the color. I think the color is the thing that I least like about it, to be honest. It is very good material. It is metal. Do some closer up images of it. But it does have sort of the beveled screw holes, and it's not plastic. It's not like a imitation. Both sides are the same color. It does have that anodized sort of brushed aluminum look. Now this, in my opinion, does not really look like the Fender version, the American Fender or the vintage Fender anodized pickguard gold. If I was to classify the color of this, I'd probably call it caramel. It's almost like a coppery color, but not quite that dark. It's not as light or yellowy as gold that I would prefer necessarily. My first choice. And so yeah, so I think caramel would be the best, or caramel, depending on what part of the world you're from. But I think that's how I would classify this color. Now I'm going to do some comparison images of this pickguard against some other gold materials that maybe you have around your house that you could compare it to and get an idea, because it's always hard to tell on the screen. I have some natural light coming in here. I've also got some video lights going on, and it's always hard to tell. So I'm going to give you some comparison shots of this pickguard against some other colors, some gold type colors, that you'll get a better idea of what it looks like. I'm going to install it on the guitar. I think it's actually going to look good, so let me just kind of give you a rough idea what it'll look like. Alright, this is about the best I can do at the moment, just holding it on the guitar like this without it installed. But you can see it kind of matches the headstock, that amber tint that's on this particular neck. I kind of like it. It's kind of cool in contrast with the light blue. If it was a lighter colored or a yellowy pickguard, it might not, contrast as well. But I kind of like it. I'm going to install it. I'll show you what the finished product looks like up close so you can see. Now, as far as I can tell, all of the screw holes line up. I would say that this will fit an American Jazzmaster. Don't quote me on it, but it does have the wider holes up here for the screws for the Jazzmaster Circuit. I'm not sure if that's the correct terminology or if I'm calling it the right thing, but I think you know what I'm talking about. It's this circuit up here that is unique to Jazzmasters. It's a darker tone. It only works on the neck pickup, and you can flip the switch and you got these controls for volume and tone. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. And if you're familiar with the Squires, you'll know that the Squire pickguard actually comes with the screw holes, and there's also a mounting plate underneath this. You may know this, you may not, but I'm just telling you so you'll be aware. There's a mounting plate that holds these potentiometers onto the pickguard and allows them to just come right above the pickguard, so you're able to move them with your finger. So anyway, I had to get a new one of those to fit the standard sort of American vintage style pickguard that this is and that most of them are. And so I've already got that plate and I've already got the screw holes on this pickguard to match that kind of standard version. And again, the holes on this pickguard are wider, so this would not fit a Squier guitar. It probably is the same color and material as the Jazzmaster Squier Jazzmaster pickguard. I'm assuming they're about the same color, sort of a little bit more orangey than the Fender standard American version, but I can't say for sure because I don't own one. I don't think I've ever encountered one in person, but I'm assuming it's probably about the same color, but it would not fit. As far as I know, the Jazzmaster has that same type of setup. I don't know. If you know, leave a comment and let me know your experience. So anyway, like I said, I'm gonna try to install this on the guitar and see if there's any fit up issues and let you know about that. And then, I'll show you some comparison shots to kind of get a better idea of the color. But before I do that, really quickly, I wanted to show you kind of how this thing was packaged. I'm obviously not going to do an unboxing of it, but it came FedEx from China and it was in plastic and cardboard, so I think it was pretty well packaged. It was kind of actually hard to get into, but yeah, this is a pretty sturdy cardboard. It was not bent up in any way. It also came with all the screws that you'll need to put it on your guitar, which I don't necessarily need, but it's nice to have. And as far as the information about specifically where I got it, I'll put that below in the description. I'll put the seller and sort of the eBay description of what this thing is. Now this seller on eBay also makes, as far as I know, other types of gold anodized pickguards. So you can buy one for Strat, for a Tele, I guess a Jaguar, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on all that, but I'm pretty positive that he has other types of gold anodized pickguards for other types of guitars. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can use this as sort of an idea of what you'll get, and especially the color and the quality of the material. All right, so let's get to it. Like I said, I'm gonna put it on the guitar and show you some of those comparison shots. Okay, this is probably a good comparison. This is one of my kids' toy drum sets, but this is kind of a standard drum cymbal color. You know, it's a goldish color, and this is the pickguard in comparison to that. So yeah, this cymbal is what I would think of as a kind of goldish color. When I think of gold, this is what I think of. You can even see this label on here is about the same color, but this is the pickguard in comparison to it. You can tell it's a little bit more orangey and a little bit more of that caramel color. So let's take a look at another comparison. Here's another random goldish object that I have. This is a Fender road-worn Tele body. I've got some videos coming up about this. I'm going to tell you about it more later, so stay tuned for that. But that is a side note. But just to show you a comparison of this pickguard against these brass saddles in particular. This brass, as it wears down, it gets sort of more brown, but initially they're pretty gold in color. And against the actual butterscotch blonde or whatever this is, you can just tell that this pickguard is a little bit darker and not as light as that. So let's look at another one. Okay, here you go. Here's a Shelly Ponyboy clone pedal that I have, as you can see there, and even a tweed colored Fender 1/4" cable. Just to show you the comparison between this pickguard and those two. Once again, it's pretty much darker and more orangey or caramel color than those as well. Here's another Fender product. It's a tweed case, and here's the pickguard. And again, this may seem silly, but I'm just showing you for color comparison. And I got a lot of natural light right here, so that's probably a really good indication, a true indication of the color comparison. So this lamp here is probably the best comparison piece I have. It has the sort of brushed aluminum or brushed metal finish on it, as does a gold anodized type pickguard. And I know I'm repeating myself, and I'm just saying this over and over again. You can see for yourself. I mean, the lamp is more of a yellowy traditional gold color, and this is more of a copper color. I think this is probably the best comparison thing I can put it against and show you the color difference. And finally, just because I have my wife's gold mirror sitting around my music room for some reason, this is another comparison. The color of this mirror is actually really close to that lamp I was showing you earlier. And again, I'll just let it speak for itself. It's color, so I don't really have to describe it. You can see the comparison there. Okay, installation time. Now the cool thing about Jazzmasters is, unlike something like a Stratocaster, you can take the pickguard off without having to move the pickup heights. And you also really don't have to do anything with the bridge. You have to take it out, but as long as you put it back the way it was and you don't mess around with the bridge height or anything, you really don't have to worry about redoing any kind of setup. So that's a really cool thing about Jazzmaster pickguard replacements, is that you can do that and you don't have to mess around a lot with setup.
I've never known anyone to fill these shoes. I know I couldn't feel yours if you asked me to. I never wanted to be anyone but me, but I keep running from the man I'm supposed to be. Yeah, I keep running from the man I'm supposed to be, but I'm the only one who's me. So I take it one day at a time, collecting all the good I find, learning from the wrongs that I have done. I'll sing until my lungs give out. I will trust instead of doubt, and love like tomorrow may not come. And times they change, time keeps going by so fast. Am I still the version of me from the past? I've always been grateful to be free, to choose to be the man that I'm supposed to be, to choose to be the man that I'm supposed to be, because I'm the only one who's me.
Well, forget what I said about this being super easy to take off, because in my case, with a 22 fret neck, I'm actually gonna have to take the neck off, or at least loosen the screws enough to let the end of the neck come up enough to where I can wiggle this pickguard out between the pickup, the neck pickup, and the end of the neck, because there's just no way I can get that out of there. So, and then I'll have to make sure the neck fits on there with the new pickguard. So if you have a 22 fret neck, you may have more troubles than just easily taking it off, like I was saying earlier. So one of the benefits of a gold anodized pickguard is that you do not have to do any type of shielding on the back. I have a video about how I shielded the back of this pickguard, and so that it would, be a grounding source and provide shielding for, radio frequencies and things like that, just unwanted noise. And so again, with a gold anodized pickguard, you don't really have to do that because it's made of metal.
Take it one day at a time, collecting all the good I find, learning from the wrongs that I have done. I'll sing until my lungs give out. I will trust instead of doubt, and love like tomorrow may not come.
So it looks like everything aligns properly. All these screw holes are centered with the existing screw holes on the body. The pickups are coming through well. No interference issues there. The bridge post holes are clearing. So now I'm going to try to put the neck on and make sure there's no interference in that regard. And it seems like there might be. So I may end up having to shave off a little bit of the pickguard in the neck pocket area. So this is the area that I was a little concerned about. I don't know if you can tell, but it's sticking out a little bit into the neck pocket, that corner right there. Everything else seems to be good. I got the clearance that I need, but actually I think it's gonna work with my neck, because my neck has a little bit of clearance in that area. It makes pretty good contact at the bottom of this piece right here of the body, and of course at the bottom where the neck pocket is. I've got a video about this shim if you're interested, by the way, but I think I'm gonna have clearance there. I'm gonna try to install the neck. I did put these two screws in here and here so that I could get an idea of where the pickguard is gonna rest. So I'm gonna try to install the neck now and make sure I don't have any clearance issues. Okay, I checked and I don't have any fit up or interference issues with the neck. So now I'm gonna go ahead and install the volume pots and the switch selector and all that stuff onto the pickguard, and go ahead and screw it down and put the neck back on, and we should be good to go.
Oh, goodbye, just a living. Hello, giving all I can. I said goodbye, just a living. Hello, giving all I can. When I sit down at my final days, reflecting on the choices made, wondering if there's more I could have done. I'm gonna sing until my lungs give out. I will trust instead of doubt, and love like tomorrow may not come. I'm gonna take it one day.
Here's an issue that I ran into. The little Jazzmaster Circuit up here with these toggle wheels, it's a little loose. I've got the screws tightened down as far as they'll go, so you can see that. So I found these little lock washers, and so I think I'm gonna try to put these in between the underside of the pickguard and the screw and see if they'll take up that space and just prevent that. Because I mean, they'll still work, they're held in there, but I don't want them loose like that.
Gonna sing until my lungs give out. I will trust instead of doubt, and love like tomorrow may not come.
Okay, looks like those washers are gonna work. It's held in place pretty good. I think that's everything. I just gotta put on, you know, the all the screws obviously, and the volume knobs and everything. Make sure it's tightened down and put the neck back on. So I don't think you really need to see any of that stuff. So I'll show it to you when I'm done. So I don't do a ton of guitar work, but this is one thing I'd recommend to anybody before buttoning everything up is actually plug the guitar in, make sure everything's working right, you know, make sure that your switch is working. So I shouldn't have the neck in that position. Should have both here, and should not have the bridge there. Should have the neck, so that's fine. Let's see here. So the volume's working, and tone is working too. Let's see. This should activate the neck pickup, which it does. The volume is working, and tone is working as well. So, you know, just a good thing to check before you, like I said, button everything back up. And if something's wrong, you gotta take it all apart again. So after buttoning the guitar up, I actually forgot to show you what it looked like when it was all finished. So at this point, it's actually too late, and I'll tell you why. This is the same pickguard and the same guitar, but I have actually, since I made the previous footage, I've actually lightened this pickguard. I've taken some of the color off, and I was able to take some of that orangey color and make it more yellowy. So that's what this looks like. Maybe if you want, you can take this video footage that you're seeing here compared to earlier footage in the video, and you can tell how much difference there is. Now you might be interested in how I pulled this off exactly, so my next video is going to focus on the method that I used to achieve this color. So in summary, this pickguard that I got from China is actually really good material. It's made really well, it fits, it has all the right screw holes and all the right dimensions and cutaways, you know, for the pickups and the bridge. So all in all, it's a really great pickguard for a really good price. I mean, 30 bucks. The only thing is the color. So I feel like that this pickguard in combination with the coloring that I was able to achieve kind of works. Now I won't say that my coloring method went off without a flaw or a hitch. There was actually some slight discoloration in my method, but I think if you use the method that I show you in this next video coming up, you'll be able to take my lessons learned and use them to achieve even better results. So as I was saying, there's a few areas on the pickguard where the coloration did not come out uniform, but I'd be interested to know if you can even tell from this distance. I can't really see it a lot of times. I know where they're at, and so if I look really closely, I can see it. But all in all, I think it turned out really well. If you have any comments, please leave them below. And again, be on the lookout for the next video where I show you how I took a little bit of the anodizing off, but not all of it. We'll see you in the next video.
Love like tomorrow.